Canada is a lawless, corrupt country with no consensus on right or wrong. Welcome to Wake Up Canada News. I'm Brad Wilder. This next article was originally published in the National Post and sent to us by Alexander Adams. Earlier this month, the BC Supreme Court refused to overturn the decision of British Columbia's Hospital Appeal Board that resulted in Dr. Teresa Czepaniuk being suspended and effectively fired for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. Czepaniuk argued that she should not have been disciplined for refusing to follow Provincial Health Officer Bonnie Henry's October 2021 public health order, which required all doctors and nurses working in hospitals to be vaccinated. Czepaniuk told the court that her being disciplined left a black mark on her reputation and violated her charter right to life, liberty, and security of the person, which she argued includes the right to earn an income to support herself and family. Judge Stephen Wilson, a Liberal appointee, disagreed. Wilson dismissed the case and concluded that the charter doesn't apply at all to the circumstances. It's unfortunate but unsurprising. This news for all British Columbians who have been disciplined and fired for the same reason. Earlier this year, BC saw another court case, this one directly challenging the vaccine mandate, dismissed as moot at the BC Court of Appeal. The case became moot, according to the court, after Henry rescinded her mandatory vaccination order. As such, a case that had the potential to create a precedent on freedom from governmental medical coercion was stopped dead in its tracks. It would appear as though the judiciary is bending over backwards in order to excuse the draconian public health orders that were issued during the pandemic. The Czepaniuk family case really fundamentally boiled down to whether the punitive actions taken by the hospital were subject to the Charter of Rights. Most reasonable Canadians, would surely agree that given the Charter applies to the actions of the provincial government, the consequences of an order issued by the province's chief public health officer and implemented by a government-funded public hospital would also be subject to it. But Wilson ruled that the decision to require all healthcare workers, including physicians, be vaccinated in order to participate and practice in hospitals was made by the public health officer by the way of the PHO. However, the decision regarding how to discipline the hospital medical staff for their breach of PHO was not subject to governmental control under the Hospital Act, as the responsibility for adopting disciplinary measures for the governmental policies rests with the IHA board. In other words, although the government mandated that all healthcare workers must be vaccinated, since it didn't say that unvaccinated staff had to be disciplined or fired, it cannot be said that Czepaniuk's charter rights were infringed. Judge Wilson drove this point home when he wrote, "The case is not about whether the petitioner could be compelled to be vaccinated. Rather, the focus is on the consequences that flow from her decision to decline the vaccine. The court has decided that losing one's job and reputation is no big deal. Not the sort of thing that is consequential enough to admit the glaring truth. British Columbians were coerced into taking a vaccine in order to prevent unacceptable and catastrophic consequences in their lives. But those who refused also faced unacceptable consequences for which no one is willing to take responsibility." 11 days after Henry issued her PHO on mandatory COVID vaccinations, Czepaniuk, according to her appeal board decision, sent a letter requesting an exemption be made for her on the basis that the order was a violation of her charter rights. Her letter also includes numerous requests for information related to disclosure of scientific evidence regarding the vaccines and how charter requirements were being met according to the decision. Czepaniuk's exemption was denied, and she received no answers to her inquiries. All told, her vaccine refusal forced her to sell her home, move her family, take a job considered a demotion, and to disclose all future employers that she was disciplined and suspended. Justice Wilson decided that Czepaniuk's hospital was not acting as a direct agent of the government when it disciplined her a legal technicality that absolved all parties from considering whether her charter rights had been violated. Though Wilson listed her reasons, he believes a charter violation didn't occur regardless. It doesn't matter how you feel about vaccines. What matters is, well, how much you care about your freedoms and how much longer you're willing to accept the line that anyone who chooses to fully exercise theirs deserves all of the consequences inflicted upon them as a result. Thanks for watching Wake Up Canada News. Please like, share, and follow us on any of your favorite socials, including YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, BitChute, X, and our website at wakeupcanadanews.com. Till next time, remember, you're the voice, and it's time to make it count. I'm Brad Wilder, and I'll see you soon.